A lot to be discussed as we try and unravel the 90 minutes that unfolded here at Stamford Bridge on our second Super Sunday of the season. Earlier, what a start for Forest in front of their own fans after a 23-year wait. One of their 8 new signings in the starting lineup. Awoniyi scored the only goal of the game. Declan Rice had a penalty saved by Dean Henderson as well in the second half. They start with 2 straight defeats. Forest have their first points. You can scan that QR code. If you've missed any action today, it will take you straight to the goals and the highlights as we saw that 4-goal thriller here between Chelsea and Spurs. It demands to be looked at, doesn't it, the table? Only 2 games in. City and Arsenal on maximum points. Brentford, Spurs in 4th, Newcastle, Leeds, Chelsea in 7th, and Brighton with 4 points from 2 games. Forest pleased to be at the top half at this early stage, and we know who's at the bottom. 3 teams without a point on the board so far from 2 matches. Everton, West Ham, Manchester United rock bottom, and we watch Crystal Palace go to Liverpool on Monday Night Football. Glad I got that right. We have got a lot to get through with Graham Souness, Karen Carney and Jamie Carragher before we leave you at 7:30 this evening. What a brilliant afternoon here, though. Temperatures rising across the capital, reached boiling points here at the bridge, where we've had a barnstorming London derby that finished 2-2. Briefed on it because this was their reaction at the equaliser.
Yeah, but the whole thing, everyone's getting more excited. As a professional sport, they're playing for high stakes. You've worked all week on a game plan. It doesn't work or it does work. So you're elated or you're so disappointed. The referees have had such a... I've been on about referees for years and years, and I've not said a referee's had a good game for years, but I'll say that today, other than the one incident we're going to show. It just made for so much more... If you've played the game, it is screaming out. We know, watching from way up here, when simulation takes place. Simulation, break it down. What does it actually mean? You're cheating. You're trying to buy a foul, as someone said one day. Buying a foul, what does that mean? Oh well, it's not really a foul, but you're open to get one. We don't want to see that in our game. The English game is so different to any other football. It's always been more honest and in your face and tougher and
but is that
more
exciting.
Is that
the one thing that you'd probably be critical of not the Premier League as a package? The one thing that frustrates everybody, football fans, viewers at home, players rolling around on the floor, going down, getting a free kick, like you see in the foreign leagues, sometimes like we see in the Champions League. And there has been, I think, in the last couple of years, this idea that we're going to try and get away from that. You don't see players rolling down as much now. Everybody's loving what we're actually seeing at the moment. Now, if there is criticism for the referee, maybe Thomas Tuchel or Conte comes out and says something about a foul, they're emotional. It's their team affected. But the general people watching the game, I think they're absolutely going to send a message to anybody, the referees, please don't stop. I think we're absolutely loving the football that we're getting and we're not getting the rolling round.
I can't wait to hear what the managers have got to say, and that'll come to you very shortly. But how good was Chelsea's second goal, Karen?
Oh, yeah, again, just the whole build-up play of it. Getting bodies forward, Reece James, you won't see it in this, you just see him in a corner, but you'll see it on the next clip. But they win it back, Koulibaly now steps in, he's aggressive, Conte wins it back. They play it into Sterling, and Son was not there to fill that gap. And then a weight of pass, then into James. He's just brilliant, but you just... I know you were going to as well, but it's from your own throw-in, but you're right. Son there on the edge of the box, but he's not a midfielder, Graham. So he's thinking what you said earlier, I'm going to attack. 2 goals.
He's not got a defensive thought in his head. He can empty that space. They changed the system. He can empty that space if Kulusevski wide has good possession of the ball. But he doesn't. He's under pressure. There's a 50-50 chance he's going to lose it. So Son has got to think negative. He's got to be negative here. Instead, he runs out and empties
As you said, doing a Mourinho, I was thinking Jurgen Klopp as well at some point. But the quality in that moment from the pass from Conte, the weight of the pass from him, the awareness from Sterling, then that finish from James as well.
It just felt like the intensity went up again from Chelsea, like we saw in the first half. Once Spurs had got themselves back to 1-1. I mean, Eric Dyer and Romero find themselves so far over on one side. And, you know, there was a change of system. That was fascinating watching from the side. But there wasn't that sort of wing back for Tottenham there. It was a slightly different way, and they all get dragged over on that far
Sorry,
side.
just watch Son into the space here.
Yeah.
Kulusevski out wide right has not got great possession here. He's under pressure. That's when Son should be holding his position.
Yeah, but Graham is not a centre midfielder.
But I'm sorry,
He's not a centre midfielder.
But Karen, it's what we're talking about. You're on the pitch. You're one of the 10 outfield players. You must be a team player. You must think, I'm a centre forward, I'm a right wing, whatever I am, but I've got a job to do defensively if I find myself in that situation.
What I would say with the game now, we see a lot of teams play 4-3-3, and we have sort of 3 attacking players. Sort of going back when I played, probably Graham, Karen, maybe a few years ago, where it'd be almost like a 4-4-2. So your wide players would be not so much wingers as such, but they tuck in and play like midfield players. Now when you ask a team to go from 4-3-3 to 4-4-2, and the wide players they're almost strikers. You know, you think of Liverpool, Salah or Son. If you ask him to play in a wide midfield position, he's still thinking almost like a forward.
You think Messi would have done that?
Who knows? Did you ask him?
Certainly wouldn't have done.
All right, the big moment that you are not happy about with the officials. This is into the final moments of the game.
This is the only thing the referee got wrong today for me.
Spurs are piling on a bit of pressure, set piece, and then this.
What? Now, how is that not a foul? Look where the referee is. What? How can he not see it? He can't throw out that excuse.
Do you not think that he's looking at everything that's going on
He's
in there?
looking down. Look where his head is. Dave, if we can go back again, when the incident happens, the ball has not arrived in the box yet. Look, it's not arrived yet, so he's not focused on that group of players jumping for the ball. He has to see his hair being pulled.
Yeah.
That is a foul.
Yeah, but Graham, I mean, whether he saw it or not, that's what VAR's there for. So when you're criticising the referee...
But they can't give a foul.
They can't jump
They
in.
can give a red card, but they can't give a foul. The ball is not in play at that time. They can't.
Oh, OK.
It's red card or potentially a penalty, which
it was a
wasn't
stupid
that
thing to
situation.
do. I mean, he looked like he was destined to get sent off with the coming together he was having, I think, with Havertz at one stage, wasn't he? He wasn't letting that go.
Well, see, that goal shouldn't stand, really.
But it was from the next corner. We saw Harry Kane get that decisive intervention. How?
He just seems to find space in there. I mean, there was another corner similar just before that we saw the goal then, but Koulibaly finds himself on the goal line as the ball goes in, and he should be there helping Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva ends up almost with 3 men from Tottenham jumping with him.
Spurs players
and
jumping
Koulibaly's on the line. He should be in there challenging, putting Harry Kane off. Maybe thinks Thiago Silva's going to win it, he's going to drop off, but he's just made a poor decision. He's got to challenge and go for that ball, because if Kane wouldn't have got his head on it, I think Richarlison would have.
Definitely going in, was it? Just checking.
Yeah.
No one dare take one up Harry Kane. We should analyse the handshakes at full time as well, because that was interesting. Graham, you've been in that situation as a fiery manager.
Never. I think he's. Is this the last one?
Yeah.
I think he's going to shake hands and then he's going to go to his supporters. And I think the Chelsea manager says, "You're not letting go."
He's saying, "Look me in the eye. Look me in the eye when you shake hands."
Not the only person to say that this weekend.
Yeah.
Unless you've been in professional sport, you don't know how desperate you become. You know, when you've, like for Tuchel, he's thinking, we were so good today, we should have won the game, we've thrown it away, so he's angry with himself. And for the other guy, he's going to shake his hands, and I think there's a bit of that going on as well.
There's something in the air here at Stamford Bridge, though, isn't there? The technical areas are about that far apart. So there is always going to be... We've seen it here down the years.
Listen, I love Conte being back in the Premier League. He seems to have that with a lot of managers. You think there was something here with Jose, when Jose came back with Manchester United. He doesn't back down to anyone, and I love it. I love the fact that that's something that Spurs sometimes maybe lack, whether it's on the pitch or off the pitch. But
I think we've got our football back today. I think we've got our football back, as I would enjoy football. Men at it, blow for blow, and the referee let them get on with it.
Well, there we go. And it finished 2-2 here at Stamford Bridge this afternoon. What did the managers make of it? We will find out in just a few minutes. It's been great to watch for the neutral, hasn't it? Antonio Conte doing it. We were treated to a belting game here at Stamford Bridge this afternoon. Chelsea denied victory in the closing stages, and it all boiled over again at the full-time whistle. What's that all about? Here's Thomas Tuchel with Jeff Shreves.
Thomas, an awful lot to ask you about. Let's start with a straight red card at the end. What happened?
Well, I thought when you shake hands, we look into each other's eyes, and Antonio had a different opinion, so It was emotional. He was happy when he equalized. I was then got a bit heated, but nothing big. And I don't know. We both got a red card.
Yeah. Straight red.
Yeah, I think it was not necessary, but a lot of things were not necessary. So another poor decision from the ref today.
You'd clashed earlier on in the game. What was the problem between you on the goal?
No problem.
You clashed and you were both booked beforehand, so there was a problem there.
Yeah, no problem.
That means you don't want to talk about that one?
No problem. No problem. It's emotional. It's football. You like it. Just don't need comments now and heat it up and heat it up. Just look at it. It's the game. It's Premier League. You love it, no? And we love it. And we're emotional coaches at the sideline. That's it.
Will you try and seek him out and shake hands later today?
If we meet, we meet. And if not, it's not a problem. It's between a football match. Come on, guys. It's between men. It's between two competitors, and nothing bad happened.
What about the game itself? What's your view on that?
We were brilliant. We were absolutely brilliant. Sorry, I have to say, but both goals cannot stand. Absolutely cannot stand. And it's only one team who deserves to win. It's us. We were absolutely brilliant, and I'm sorry for my team that they don't get what they deserve.
What did you object to on both goals? What was your complaint?
First of all, it's a clear foul on Kai Havertz in the build. A clear foul. We had one tactical foul from Reece James, got straight yellow. I don't know how many tactical fouls Højbjerg and Bentancur did today. Nothing happened. Clear foul on Kai Havertz. Okay, situation goes on and on and on. Then it's clear offside from Richarlison. He's in the line of the shot. He even goes to the ball. He does not touch the ball. Edu cannot see the ball. They check it. It's clear offside. And since when can we pull hair on a football field? Since when is that? And we check it and nothing happens. We don't need to check anymore. It's ridiculous.
Does that only add to your frustration and feeling hard done by that you were 2-1 with literally moments to go?
It is the frustration. That's the only frustration. I'm the happiest coach on earth because we played a fantastic match. We were absolutely brilliant. We dominated 90 minutes. We were sharp. We were hungry. We were like in all areas of the pitch so disciplined and so full of quality. Like it was a top performance. And I'm sorry for my players.
Why did you take Jorginho off? Was that straight after he tried to do the drag back in the penalty area? Were the two related when they equalised?
Sorry, again?
When you took Jorginho off, was that because he tried the drag back in the penalty area and they equalised from that? Or was it planned anyway? Were you about to take him off?
No, it had nothing to do with the goal. I mean, it was anyway an offside goal, so how to blame Jorginho for it? No. He was tired. He gave a lot, and I wanted Ruben on the pitch because of his legs and his height. And we had a tactical switch in the defending because they had 4 offensive players and played all in. So it was a tactical change, nothing else.
Speaking of tactics, how well did you feel today, your switches between a 3 at the back, a 4 at the back, a 5 at the back? How effective was that?
Yeah, it was very good, but the execution was brilliant. It's never the plan, it's the execution. We attacked in a back 4 and we defended in a back 5. The guys were so good. I loved the execution. I loved the commitment and the intensity in it and the concentration level. I mean, it was a fantastic match on the second day of the league. Everybody can be proud. I mean, everybody who was here is for sure happy that they observed a match like this.
You said it's a game of emotions. Did we see that with your 30-yard run down the touchline?
Yeah, of course. I mean, in the middle of it, I thought I should not do this. Of course, I'm sorry, but. Sometimes a match is like gets you totally, and this match totally sucked me in because it was a fantastic effort and it was a brilliant goal and such an effort after the undeserved equalizer, and I thought, it was pure joy, but of course it may offend other people on our opponents, but of course they did the same, and when they equalized, it's not such a big deal.
There's a lot of needle between these two teams, isn't there? There's bad feeling.
Yeah, okay, I mean, guys, be honest. You report for days and days and days about this. How big a derby is this, and how long did they not win here? So you're in the middle of it, no? So you cannot be surprised. And then it's an emotional game. I mean, it's Tottenham at Chelsea, and that's what it is.
We're not complaining. Great entertainment.
Yeah, good. So finally, I agree.
Thanks, Thomas.
Yep, guilty. But it's 1 in 38 for Spurs here now at Stamford Bridge. So Thomas Tuchel has at least preserved that terrific record they've got. The hold they seem to have over Tottenham. Absolutely brilliant, he said. He's the happiest coach in the world right now. Can you understand why?
Yeah, I thought they were brilliant, Chelsea, for large periods of the game. But just that one final piece is that number 9. They've tried and tried time and time again, and it is a boring story. But they've executed everything right. He said fluid. They were fluid in chopping and changing formations, entries into the final third, but haven't done enough to kill off the game.
Do you think they win the game with a 9?
Yeah, 100%.
Proper?
The first 30 minutes was crosses going in left, right and centre. Didn't have a number 9 in there. Sterling wasn't quite in the areas, but he's not the answer for me. He's great to this team and he will add goals, but he's not what they need, and they need a striker.
What sort of player are we talking about, Karen? Because they've obviously let Werner go back to Germany. Lukaku was here last year. I think a lot of people thought he was going to be that final piece in the jigsaw, but it didn't happen for him.
I mean, the 2 best strikers have gone to the other 2 teams, haven't they? The number 9, Haaland and Nunez, that was available. But it might have to be someone that's tried and tested in the Premier League. I know Lukaku was here previously, but didn't really do it at United. And then the other strikers they brought in, Werner hadn't done it either. So maybe go with someone that they know can bang in goals here and know the league inside out. And that's just the one missing piece for them.
You agree?
They've been fabulous today, Chelsea. I mean, they have been fabulous. Their football, super. They've had 3 shots on goal. They've scored with 2 and Lloris has made 1 save. For all their fabulous football, they should be having more than 3 shots at the goal.
What's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, Thomas Tuchel knows that. That's why he bought Lukaku last season, but Lukaku just wasn't the right fit, because the way Chelsea played in that first 30, well, certainly the whole of the first half, the intensity, how quick they were with the ball, I'm not sure they could have played that well with Lukaku, because that's one of the reasons why they've had to move him on, because he just basically stood up front. You know, and
That's unfair. He stood up front. I think maybe in his last stage...
Why do you think they got rid of him?
Well, because he didn't want to be here. He felt he was changing the
system. But he didn't do enough to be here, Graham. He didn't want to be here because he wasn't good enough.
Still. Lukaku's, when he's at it, he's as good as anyone as a number 9.
Yeah, but Graham, you've just said it yourself, when he's at it.
Yeah, and that's a problem. That's
why he's gone. That's what I'm saying.
He felt they weren't playing to his strengths. But I don't think you can turn around and say that Lukaku stands still.
I don't think he works hard enough, Lukaku. I think that's one of the reasons why.
Well, he's not here, so there's talk now of Aubameyang. Might that work?
Yeah, what's he about? Aubameyang, 32, 33. He knows him from his time at Dortmund. But you know, you can get kidded by remembering people how they were. And I'll tell you, the great Jock Stein said that. You know, don't remember what they were like. Remember what they're like, or look at them today and make a judgment on today. I think there's an element of that. It didn't work out for him at Arsenal. For what reasons? Bringing him back to we saw today, our football is different than anywhere else. And the hardest place to play on a football pitch is up front. You get least time, people are aggressive to you, the intensity, the concentration levels, everything is fabulous about our league. And he found it difficult here playing for Arsenal. Is it going to be different for him playing for Chelsea?
It might be a short-term fix though, Graham. You know.
Well, he found life here difficult under Arsenal. And I think, you know, at 33, you know, strikers are the first ones, what happens with them? They get bashed around, they spend a career getting bashed around for 10, 12 years. And then they start to come towards the ball all of a sudden because they don't want to be running in there where they might get hurt. At 33, it would be unusual for someone to come here at 33 and be such a success in our league, even playing for a team that has that much of the ball and creates that much as this team.
Where could the right striker take them, do you think, this season?
To be in the nearest challenges to Liverpool and Man City, as they were last season. I think what they've done today, and I mentioned this before the game, I felt they'd have a point to prove. There's been so much talk of Tottenham this season. And I think Tottenham coming away today, it's a great point for them. But I think in their minds, they'll think, still another level for us to go to almost get where Chelsea or City and Liverpool are and really challenge them. But yeah, I think they're close. I still think they're going to do a lot of business between now and the end of the window, so it's difficult to judge where they'll be. But I wouldn't be surprised if a striker comes in, Aubameyang and another midfield player.
You agree?
Yeah, I do. I think he's an answer for a short-term fix, and I think he's perfect. Worked with a manager, been in the league, and yeah, I think he's got a point to prove given where he's previously been.
Watch this space. We will see what happens over the coming weeks. There's still lots of time, lots of money to be spent. On Thursday night, I can tell you firsthand, it was a very enjoyable afternoon watching the Oval Invincibles, as it has been here this afternoon. Cracking atmosphere. We've heard from Tuchel, and up next, Antonio Conte. Well, Spurs might reflect on a huge point gained here at Stamford Bridge this afternoon. Tuchel thought that Chelsea had won it, but Spurs had the final say in the 96th minute. Antonio Conte giving his reaction now to Jeff Shreves.
Antonio, it was an extraordinary day. So many incidents, so much action. Let's start right at the end. Red card, straight red card for both coaches. What caused it to boil over, in your opinion?
In my opinion, no, I think in my opinion it's better to talk about the game. And the game was an exciting game and was a difficult game for both teams. But we want to try in every game to be competitive. I think Chelsea showed also today to be a really good team. But maybe compared last season, we did. In my opinion, we did a bit well than the last season. Yeah.
I understand you want not necessarily to talk about the red card, but we've already spoken to Thomas Tuchel. He said the problem at the end, he felt, was you didn't look him in the eye when you shook hands.
No, but I repeat, I don't want to comment the situation because I think this is not the most important thing. And if there is a problem, the problem is between me and him, not for the others.
It looked as though that was the problem because you clashed twice. You were booked the first time, both of you, and the red card. It looked as though there is a problem between you.
Yeah, but I repeat, speak about the game, not about the situation, because we are here to speak about football, not about a situation between the two coaches.
Okay, hear what you say. First goal, when it's zonal marking like that, can you do anything different?
Yeah, for sure we have to try to analyze very well the situation, and because there was a lot of space behind our line, because we marked the zone and we left a lot of space to attack in a simple way for Koulibaly, no? Maybe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. And we have to try to analyze well and to try to find improvement.
They looked as though they were superior in the first half. What did you need to change at half time? What needed to change? What did you...
But for sure, and to come here against Chelsea away, and it's not simple. We are talking about a really good team, and it's normal to come here and to suffer. But at the same time, I think that we created also a situation to stay always into the game. And but the difference is clear, because Champions League 2 years ago, World Cup, and the final FA Cup, final Carabao Cup, third place last season. I think there is difference between Chelsea and Tottenham, and I'm not here to discover this, but we want to try to reduce this gap, and we know that we have to work and to try to take time. But at the same time, last season we lost 3 times. Now we do, and a little step forward.
You didn't start with any of the new signings again today. Is there a reason? Is there a thinking behind that?
I try to make the best start 11. There is no reason. I try to make the best start 11.
Lastly, do you think you fully deserved a point today?
But this is your opinion, has to be your judgment, not my judgment. I think that compared last season we did better, but I think that if we want to try to create problems to Chelsea, we have to try to be better.
One last question I must ask you about. They're unhappy with both goals, but they're also unhappy with an incident where Christian Romero seemed to pull the hair of Marc Cucurella. Are you aware of this at all?
I don't know about what you are talking about. The last.
There was an incident just before the penalty. On the corner. It looked like he pulled Cucurella's hair.
Honestly, I didn't see, but there is the VAR to analyze the situation, and the VAR was very clear, and to continue the game without take a decision.
Appreciate you talking to us.
Thank you very much.
Antonio Conte dodging round some of the incidents from that game, but he talked about the gap again, Jamie, when asked by Jeff. Do you feel like that gap is still there between Spurs and Chelsea? or we have evidence that that's now shrinking?
It is shrinking because of what Tottenham have done, and certainly having, you know, a top quality manager for the full season rather than, you know, just over half a season last season. But I still do think Chelsea have still got the edge. I mentioned that before the game. And listen, a lot of people have said Spurs could be the closest challengers to the top two, and I think they will get a lot closer. But you just think of the money Chelsea are throwing around, and you could still see another 2 or 3 players coming into that squad before now and the end of the season. I just think that first half would have been a little wake-up call to a lot of Spurs players, thinking where they have to get to if they really want to challenge that top two and be the sort of, you know, the team out of the pack, if you like, who try and put pressure on, because that's been Chelsea's position in the last few years. And I think that first half performance from Chelsea, or not first half, most of the game, to be honest, will have let Tottenham know exactly where they need to get to.
If pressed, Graham, who do you think has more of a chance of getting there quicker in terms of catching Liverpool and City, Chelsea or Spurs?
I think I'm surprised how good Chelsea were. You know, the turmoil that they've been through in the last 7, 8 months. You know, to come out and perform like that, but I come back to it, they need someone to get them 20 goals plus. They need someone who's going to be the difference in the tight games. I mean, they've totally dominated that game today. They end up still having 3 shots at the Spurs goal. Lloris saved 1 and let 2 in. So for me, they still need that. They get that and keep that person fit. If you can get a 20 goal a season man, that would make them very dangerous and challenge the big two, the 2 strongest teams at the moment. I think for Spurs, they have improved, but they've still got a bit to go. I mean, you have to look at the front 3 that Spurs have. On any day, they will get chances against anyone. And you have to throw Arsenal into the mix as well. They look as if they're on the right road as well.
And from that perspective, Karen, is this a game that Spurs might have lost in recent past?
I think that's the biggest thing out of this is they came back and they showed the resilience and the character that we probably haven't seen for a large point of time. And I think Conte has brought that. I think he said about it, I need to make this team intimidated. That's why I said he recruited 6-foot players. Even the bench, everyone around him, they're starting to not be intimidated, and they're trying to stamp their authority. And I think that's the biggest thing. 2 years ago, they would have lost that.
I just paused then in my question to you because I was just trying to digest some information which had just been fed in my ear about some possible recruitment from Chelsea. We're hearing they have put in a bid of £40 million for Everton's Anthony Gordon. Jamie?
It's a lot of money for a young player who's
21 years old.
Just coming onto the scene, but I don't see how Everton could accept that. The position they find themselves in right now, lacking attacking players, he's the one big hope for the club, because even the supporters aren't deaf to Everton. You know, they've lost the first 2 games. They know it's going to be a difficult season. They need an attacking player coming in, so there's no way they can let him go. And certainly with him being a local lad, he's the one they're all hanging the hats on as supporters, really. I mean, I think it'd have to be a lot higher than that if Everton were going to sanction that.
He's not really the kind of player that you were talking about, I don't think. How would you see him fitting in potentially?
Well, I think there's obviously been rumours about Pulisic and Ziyech going, so I'd probably see a like-for-like replacement. If one goes out, he would come in, and he's young, English, talented, and that's the recruitment they've gone for as well. Some young players, some experienced players. He's not the answer that we've all been speaking about, but I think if Pulisic or Ziyech went, I think he would be coming in for that.
I suppose what it does show, Graham, is that they are far from done here, Chelsea.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if that. Would I be surprised? Don't be surprised at the surprises anymore in our game. I think £40 million for a 21-year-old who's played 51 games in our Premier League. And he's not set the header on fire. Yeah, he looks, he's a dribbler, he's quick enough. For me, goes to ground a bit too easily, but that's a hell of a lot of money for someone who's only played 50 games. And it's not screaming at you when you see him play that he's going to be a top man.
Quick assessment then before we go of the ones they have signed so far. Chelsea, we're talking about Cucurella. First start today. Koulibaly on his home debut with that goal, and Raheem Sterling as well.
I thought they were all brilliant. I thought Sterling was sharp. I think as soon as he starts to fit in, he'll be good. Koulibaly, we saw how good he is in possession. I actually think it's an upgrade of Rudiger, if I'm honest. And Cucurella, I think he's a breath of fresh air. I think he's so good.
Jamie?
I thought Raheem did OK today, that he did well, but he's not a centre-forward. I think he'd be a lot better in one of those roles, just behind the striker and making that run, then penetrating runs that he's so good at. Don't really want him with his back to goal too often. He almost played up front with Javier today, a lot of movement in there, but I think he'd suit another striker coming into play alongside him.
Still questions, it seems, from our panel about some of the business that could yet be done before this transfer window is out. Graham, thank you very much. Karen, thank you. Great to see you again. Jamie, thank you for joining us as well. We're not done this weekend in the Premier League because Monday Night Football returns. Our first of the season, Liverpool taking on Crystal Palace, 7 o'clock. You can see that next weekend. We start on the South Coast, Bournemouth taking on Arsenal, looking to make it 3 wins out of 3. We see Chelsea again on Super Sunday. They go to Ellen Road. And Newcastle take on the champions, Manchester City, who sit top of the pile after 2 games. And then a week on Monday, a huge game at Old Trafford. Manchester United back in action against Liverpool. All sorts of rumours and reports circulating from Manchester United after that horror show at Brentford yesterday. We start a week on Monday at 6:30. There will be a lot to get through. Well, Forest have managed to get their first win in the Premier League for 23 years, and in 30 years of Premier League football, we've seen another classic here this afternoon at Stamford Bridge. Bye from us.